We will start. Hello and welcome to another Expedia Cruises virtual travel talk. We are delighted so that you can all join us this evening. My name is Gary Leopoldo, and I'm one of the travel advisors with Expedia Cruises here in Edmonton. We all love to travel, and since travel is on hold right now, we have decided to bring you these virtual travel talks to keep us all daydreaming of the travels to come in the near future. We have recently gone through a name change from Expedia Cruise Centers to now Expedia Cruises. Shorter name, but definitely same great service. And just so everyone is aware that we do sell more than just cruises, we do help you arrange air, land, sea vacations, river cruises, and many more. I know my love of travel and seeing the world has not reduced these past months. I'm very excited, and I'm sure most of us are excited as well to the time when we are able to see the world again. Earlier this year in May, marked our 24th anniversary of being in business. We want everyone to know that we are here for many more years to help you plan your travel. As soon as the world opens up, and of course when it is safe to travel once again. Those in the call that are new to Zoom meeting, everyone is here is muted just because of the size of the group. You do have the control if you want the video of yourself on or off. And if you have any questions, please use the chat feature. We will answer them in the chat or after the presentation. And now I'm very excited to introduce our special guest this evening, Leslie Schaff. She's the Business Development Manager from Avalon Waterways. Leslie will be sharing some information about river cruises. So just sit back, relax, enjoy the presentation. Let's all welcome Leslie, and the floor is yours.
Thanks, Gary. I'm just going to find my there we go. You can see it, no problem. It's good? Okay. Well, you might look at my picture today and say, my gosh, she's red. And I'm a little windburnt. I was actually just spent the last 5 days in our own backyard in the Rockies on a Globus tour, which is part of the Globus family of brands. It was the first tour we operated globally since the pandemic. It was only for Canadians. We had 21 people from Ontario and Alberta on the tour. And we had a fantastic time, including my red windburnt face. So, but today I'm going to focus on Avalon, like Gary mentioned. I have been with the company for 15 years. I've been on Avalon Waterways many, many times. So if you do have questions today, feel free to ask your questions in the chat box. I most likely would have the answer, hopefully, with all my experience. But I know we're all in that still a bit of a dreaming stage, trying to plan your future travel, kind of unsure. So I hope I bring some things to life for you today to help with your planning of your next travel dream vacation. And I know that, you know what, maybe you're not ready just yet, but I'm sure you'll be ready soon. You know, it's myself experience a Globus tour. I think that the future is getting a little brighter to go on trips, and especially escorted trips like touring and river cruising in the near future. Avalon is part of the Globus family brand. So if you've never heard of Avalon, you might have heard of the word Globus, which is a first-class motor coach touring company that operates tours actually worldwide. We have focused on that Canadian Rockies tour just for Canadians. And we are looking at doing that in the future as well for domestic and international travel. So if you're interested in just traveling with Canadians, we're going to have some product for you as well on the touring side. We have Cosmos, which is our budget-friendly touring, and it is again worldwide, mostly in Europe and North America, but does have some exotic travels like in Costa Rica and Africa, Asia. Monograms is our independent city tours. It's great complimentary with a river cruise. So if you're going on an Avalon river cruise and you are going to Amsterdam and you want to spend some extra time in London and Paris while you're over in Europe, Monograms has those type of vacations for you. It's just city stays includes a local hotel, centrally located, locally hosted, and local guided tour included in your breakfast daily. And today I'm going to talk about Avalon Waterways. I will be focusing mostly on Europe, but I will mention some of our other cruises that we have beyond Europe as well. So let's talk about Avalon, A Room to Dream. So let's just start with our awards and accolations that we've had recently. So Avalon Waterways, maybe you have never heard of Avalon. There's a lot of river cruise companies out there. We all have great itineraries, great river cruise ships, but we all have something a little different to offer to keep us all unique. So Avalon has won awards recently, one for Best River Cruise Line Shore Excursions, and I'll talk about the difference of our shore excursions that are included in our itineraries this evening. We've also won, recently we just won Best European River Operator. That was the first time Avalon has been awarded that in our 16 years, sorry, I'm losing track of time, 16 years of being on the rivers. And then last 4 years in a row, we won based on our room design. And the award is Best River Cruise Line Cabins. We call them panorama suites, like the image you see on the right-hand corner. And I'll highlight and talk about our panorama suites in the presentation tonight as well. So we're very proud of some of the recent awards we won with Cruise Critic. And Cruise Critic is based on cruisers. Cruisers are the ones that, it's not, industry people in the travel. It is actually the cruisers that are recognizing Avalon, which we're very, very appreciative of. So I know you're going to have many questions about safe and sound river cruising moving forward, especially with all these new guidelines and protocols that are in place. And I know every country has some different guidelines and protocols in place, but Avalon's #1 priority when it comes to our operational, and it always has been our #1 priority, is the health and safety of our guests and our crew. So Avalon has come out with the Avalon Assurance Program, and some of this is not new for Avalon, but we're really highlighting it to make you feel safe about going on a river cruise. The welcome on board, that includes, disinfecting your luggage before you come on board. So we'll have crew members disinfecting the luggage and bringing the luggage on board, and with gloves and masks, and putting in your room for you, so you don't have to worry about that. Also, the physical distancing. I like to say social distancing, but I'm trying to use that word physical distancing now, about when you're embarking. So, sometimes when it comes to any type of cruise product, sometimes you're all lumped in some and trying to embark at the same time. So we're going to have physical distancing when we are having our embarkation as well. Fresh air inside and out. So Avalon, we've got a lot of questions about how the air circulates throughout the river ship. All of the air for all the panorama suites, Avalon Deluxe staterooms, the Royal suites have their own system. So you're not sharing air from room to room. So we're getting a lot of those questions. So we have this out in our guidelines saying there is no air shared from room to room. And 80% of our rooms are panorama suites, and the windows open to bring that fresh air in as well. Blending cultural proximity with social distancing, the physical distancing. That means about how many people are going to be on board the river ship. Right now, the guidelines is a maximum of 100 people. We average about 150 guests if we're completely full on our river ships, but they're saying right now with the guidelines in Europe is 100 max. So that could change in 2021. So that's right now the guidelines in place. It also means with the local guided tours, with river cruising, and I'm going to highlight a lot of those fun local guided tours included tonight, is that we will have to work with lower numbers and bring more guides for our local guided tours. What's nice about Avalon, though, is that we have choices of excursions, and our local guided tours before the pandemic averaged about 20 to 24 people in a local guided group. So we might see that number lower depending again on the rules and protocols put into place where we are cruising. Touching hearts, not hands. So we've taken out all of our buffet meals right now, and that's going to be all menu a la carte, crew served dining. And so that's to note, we used to have buffets. for breakfast and lunch. So we've taken away the buffets for breakfast and lunch right now. And we actually are not going to operate any of our self-serve stations. We still have complimentary coffee, tea, espresso in our club lounge, but now be crew served versus complimentary that you just go up to the machine yourself. And I think that will prevent me to take one extra latte or one extra cookie, to be honest with you. So I think that might help some of us when we're cruising, not to just keep taking, right? So we have the commitment to have the cleanest ships out there. We had very high standards before the pandemic. We have brought up our standards before. We've known to leave sparkle everywhere that we go with our river ships. A lot of compliments, a lot of reviews online if you wanted to look, or have your consultant look. We have a lot of reviews online just of how clean our river ships were even before the pandemic. And I mentioned we do focus on crew health as well as our guest health. And our crew actually will have daily temperature checks, health screening, just like our guests will have health screening, as well as if they are sick, they won't be permitted to work, and we will have physical distancing in our crew quarters as well. So when it comes to the daily temperature checks with Avalon, it's not going to be like a thermometer put onto your forehead. Don't have to worry about that. I know you've seen some of what's going on with hotels and other operators or airlines and airports. We don't want to take the ambiance away from river cruising. We have a kiosk, and I'll show you an image. We have a kiosk on our river ships already that you can check in, check out on, and which will actually be able to read your temperature as well. So it's not going to be something that will be someone pointing that little thermometer to your forehead like I just had on a tour, and that's all they could do. So in Avalon, we're not going to take that ambiance away. We really want you to truly have that river cruise experience. It might be a little different before the pandemic, but it's going to be a fantastic experience. So you're waking up to a whole new world. Welcome on board. So this is the river ship portion of my talk. And I talked about, we do have these beautiful suite ships. They're 5-star suite ships. I mentioned the average group size is 150 guests, but right now with the regulations be 100 people maximum. So easy to physical distance on our river ships. They are clean, they're beautiful, and I got some interior pictures here to get you excited. And that's that kiosk. I talked about that kiosk. We've actually already had them on the river ship, so they're just going to have a thermometer thing on the kiosk, just kind of like what airports have when they kind of they do the thing on your face to give the temperature. That's kind of what this is going to do on the kiosk. So it's kind of neat technology that we have. There is a panoramic view no matter where you are on the river ship. You are going to have views, and it's nice about river cruising is about the view. You always see land most of the time, so you always want a view. So we have panoramic windows throughout the river ship. The sky deck, of course, we have shade chairs, we have a game area, we have our premium lounge chairs. We have a little sitting area in front of the wheelhouse that's actually a ½ meter lower than the main sky deck. So that area is open about 98% of the time when you're river cruising, because a lot of people ask about, is their sky deck ever closed? And sometimes the main sky deck has to be closed to go underneath bridges or depending on water levels. But that front part in front of the wheelhouse is most of the time open because it is a ½ meter lower. We have complimentary Wi-Fi on the river ship, so you don't have to worry about extra charges for Wi-Fi. And over the years, the Wi-Fi has gotten, the signal's gotten very good, to be honest. There's not many dead zones like it used to be about 10 years ago when I was first river cruising. There was areas where you wouldn't have Wi-Fi for days. So you have Wi-Fi every day now, you know, and it's pretty quick. Local favorites on board, there's experiences. We do bring on local chefs, entertainers, artists, and experts on board. Like on the Seine, we bring on a local chef that teaches you how to make the proper crepes made in France. It's one of my favorite experiences. We have an elevator on board a river ship that takes you through the entire interior of the river ship from floor to floor. It just can't take you to the sky deck because we're not able to build an elevator shaft to the sky deck. Outside viewing, we have our English-speaking crew. They will be wearing masks when they are interacting with guests, and we will have masks available if you're not able to physical distance on the river ship as well, in our lounges as well, in the common areas. The cruise director is English-speaking. We have our Revolution Engineering of our river ships. We have the state-of-the-art river cruise ships out there. They are fairly new with our fleet. 2011 and newer, so just to note that, and we have some pretty neat technology with there. We have a sky deck. We have a whirlpool on the sky deck, and I call it the teacup. So it kind of looks like a teacup, And it will be open, they say, but it's going to be maximum 2 people versus the maximum 6. So that able to physical distance in the teacup. And they would say you're going to have to book a time to be in the teacup. I call it the teacup. They don't call it the teacup on Avalon. I just always say that because it looks like it. But so you have to book a time to go up there versus just going up on your own. And that's typical what hotels are doing right now for their spas as well. Alternative like breakfast, like I mentioned, we've done the meal changes. We have complimentary coffee, tea, espresso available through the day. We crew served. And we do have a well-stocked library. Right now, they say they're going to take it away, but it might come back. So just to note that. So the rooms. So 80% of our rooms look like this. So this is what we call a panorama suite. They're 200 square feet. The bed's positioned to look out onto the waterway. You can see there's a nice sitting area, like a little love seat, a chair, a cocktail table that does have the lever to move it up or down. So if you're standing, you can bring the table up so it can be at the level where you need to when you're standing, which I think is a great feature. There is a desk in the room with another chair. There's plenty of storage space. There's a closet, a 3-door closet. With shelves, with plenty of space to hang. If you need extra hangers, you can always ask our crew members that for more hangers. There is, like in the washroom, there is the hair dryer, plenty of counter space, the makeup mirror. It's, it's really your room away from home, very comfortable room. That bed is angled, so it's not up against the wall. Like I know the image is hard to see, but the bed is, the wall is angled, so the bed's not right up against the wall. There's plenty, but about a half a meter or so space between the bed and the wall as well. But just imagine this. This is a really great to picture yourself, and this is Budapest in the background here for this image. And this is not a digital image. This is truly our river ship, the Envision, when it was in Budapest. So just think about waking up in bed, and just having that view. Now I'm gonna warn you, sometimes with river cruising, if you're not familiar with this, we do have to position ourselves next to another river ship. Most of the time it's our own Avalon, but sometimes it could be like some other river ship lines that have the same configuration as us, so we're able to easily walk through. So some mornings you might not wake up and have a great view. Sometimes you might have a view of another river ship. So just to note that as well. And then when it comes to the amenities in the room, like I talked about some of them already, we do have our comfort collection beds. We have the choice of pillows. We have the Egyptian super combed cotton linens. We have robes and slippers available for every guest. The slippers are your souvenir to take home. We never want them back. So I have a few little extras that I brought home over the years. We have the premium L'Occitane bath essentials. I mentioned there's a hair dryer. The bathrooms are very large on Avalon, lots of space, extra large marble countertop. Sorry, I'm stumbling on my words here. Extra large mirror, and I've mentioned that little makeup mirror. We do have a television with a wide selection of movies, on-demand movies to watch. If you're going to spend maybe some time in your room and want to watch a movie. We also have CNN, BBC, if you want to watch the news for English stations. You have your individual climate control. So if you're cruising in the off season, you might want your room a little bit warmer. If you're cruising in the summer, you might want the air conditioning on. So you have your own climate control in your room, which is nice. And the crew member actually shows you how to work the climate control. It's not like when you check into a hotel and you just get to your room, you're like, I don't know how to work this. Our crew members do teach you how to work the climate control in the room, which is nice. You have a full-size closet, like I mentioned, additional storage under the bed, and we do have a reusable souvenir water bottle for you because we do have some water stations on board the river ship as well. We are trying to eliminate all of the single-use plastics on Avalon. We've gone away with straws. We did have complimentary bottled water in the room, and if you do want a bottle, that's not a problem, but we do have our water stations as well, and we give out a souvenir water bottle. So, and with these water stations, they will be manned by a crew member as well. So there'll be a crew member there to make sure everything's sanitized at the water stations. So here's an image of the lounge. So we have a few lounges on Avalon. The far left-hand picture is the observation lounge, and you can enjoy the view. It's all about the view, right? Outside, you can avoid wind, rain, and sun, and just enjoy the ambiance of being outside. And the other two photos on this screen is actually our panorama lounge, and just really highlighting those panorama windows, those floor to ceiling windows, and you get a great panoramic view right from the lounge. So maybe it is a little cooler out, maybe it's raining out and you're in the Rhine Gorge area and you still want to enjoy the scenery. You can enjoy the scenery right from the lounge. You're not going to miss a beat, which is nice. You can see the little sitting areas, they made them into like little living room sitting areas, which is nice. This is our club lounge. So this is actually at the rear of the river ship. We have no formal events back here. This is a nice quiet space to read a book, go on your iPad, drink a coffee, enjoy the view from the rear of the ship. It's on the royal deck. So if you want to be close to the club lounge, you can be in the rooms like, 323, 324, 322. Those are all great rooms right back towards the club lounge here. Because this is an area that people love. Our guests just love this area back here. And again, nothing formal happens back here. All the formal, like the talks and the entertainment, will always happen in the panorama lounge, the main lounge. And this is what our self-serve station looked at pre-pandemic. I mentioned we will have a crew member now that will be in the club lounge serving. If you want a coffee, tea, espresso, they'll be at the machine helping to serve versus being self-serve. But once we're able to have you be able to help yourself, maybe later in 2021 or 2022, this is what it really looks like. It's a nice area, complimentary coffee, tea, espresso available 24 hours a day. They always have little treats. You can kind of see this little case here, and it usually has cookies, danishes, muffins, donuts, which everyone loves the donuts. And we always have juice, and we have an ice machine here as well. And if you bring on your own wine or your liquor, we have the ice machine for you. We supply the ice bucket, so you can bring it all on. Not a problem with us. We're supplying you with all the equipment, we say, right, to enjoy your whatever you're bringing on, right? So, and we really truly want you to make you feel like home with Avalon. So when it comes to what to wear on Avalon, our crew members, even these photos here, our crew are pretty dressed up, to be honest with you. We've changed their uniform in the last year or two, and we really made it a little more casual. So we want you to feel like home. We don't want to make you feel like you have to pack your diamonds and tiaras and your ties and tuxedos. We want you just, if you dress snappy casual, that's perfect on Avalon. If you're going in the summertime, men, you can wear a golf shirt and a nice pair of dark jeans to dinner, or a nice pair of khaki pants to dinner. Women, we can wear, a nice little blouse and, a skirt or a dress. You don't have to bring like that formal affair with you. We want you to really feel like home. And our crew members, and they're all English speaking, like I mentioned, to truly make you feel at home. And our ship has got that contemporary look to the design, so it really doesn't have that over top look to it as well. We do have the little things included, like the L'Occitane bath essentials. We do have our fitness center, which will be open, but again, you would have to book a time to be in the fitness center, so we're able to have people physical distance. There's really no high impact equipment in there. There's a bike, there's a treadmill, there is some free weights, some yoga mats, right? So I mentioned the coffee, tea, espresso. We have the turn down service, as you can see here. They always have the fireplace going on the TV, no matter what time of year you're traveling for turn down service. If you're traveling in the July, you're still gonna have that fireplace on your television. If you're traveling at Christmas time, you love that fireplace because it feels like you do have a fireplace in your room, right? So, and I mentioned the Wi-Fi is complimentary. So it's complimentary, and it's complimentary throughout the entire river ship. We do just have a password that is that you get from the front desk, and then you have full access to the Wi-Fi. And you don't need to be just in the common areas like the club lounge image here. You can be in your room, you can be on the sky deck, you can be even just outside the river ship and have access to the Wi-Fi, which is nice. So the dining. So the dining on Avalon, all your meals are included when you're on the river ship. And I mentioned that we do not have any buffets right now. We're moving to a menu for all meals. You have your breakfast, lunch, and then dinner's a 4-course elegant meal. We include sparkling wine at breakfast, we include wine and beer at lunch, and we include wine and beer at dinner. At dinner, the wine choices change nightly to the regions that we're traveling. So really try to focus on regional wines where we're traveling. So, and there is choices of wines that are included as well. When it comes to cuisine for dietary needs, we can meet any dietary need. We just need to know in advance if you're gluten-free, if you're low sodium, you name it, we can do it. Dairy-free, vegan, we can do it. Most of the time, most of our chefs prefer to meet you on the first day to go over your requirements, and our maitre d' will actually meet you at every meal to go over the menu with you as well. We also have like those surprise and delights included throughout the day. We have coffee, tea in the afternoon included in the club lounge. After every excursion, we usually have a little treat included when you come back, a little drink and a treat, a snack. If you're on an active and discovery cruise, we have some kind of fuel bars, like granola bars and snacks to take with you on your active excursions, and it's all complimentary as well. The dining venues. So you have a choice of dining venues on Avalon. You can have your meal in your room for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We do room service for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Moving forward, in the past, it was just breakfast, and now we're doing all 3 meals. And there is no cover charge to have it. It's all complimentary as well to have your meal in your room. We do have our main dining room, which is that bottom right-hand corner. And this is where all of breakfast, lunch, and dinner is always included, and that's where the 4-course dinner is. But then we have some creative spaces for breakfast and lunch in the Panorama Bistro, which is the image in the left-hand corner. And then when the weather permits us, we do have a Sky Bistro on the Sky Deck as well. I've been told with the Sky Deck, they will go back to a reservation system like we used to. So if you're interested in these, there might be a sign up sheet for you with our reception desk for some of the smaller venues like the Sky Deck. But the dining room, you don't have to make a reservation right now. We have open dining for dinner, for example. We have open dining between 7 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. So you don't all have to show up at 7 p.m. to have dinner, not to worry. You can show up between 7 and 8:30 with Avalon. And if you didn't eat supper, I do apologize, because today we have some images of choices of cuisine. This is my hardest decision actually every morning. Am I having that waffle or the Eggs Benedict? So we do have that menu like I mentioned, and we brought everything we have on that buffet with all those choices to the menu, as well as we had a menu before that was the choice of the waffle or the Eggs Benedict. So there's lots of choices for breakfast. We do have themed dining as well. So if you're in Bavaria, we have a Bavarian lunch included with the schnitzel and the potatoes and the strudel, the Socke-Torte, as you can see here in the image here. But again, we cater to everybody, and we have salad bar, no, I shouldn't say salad bar anymore. We have salad choices on the menu. So we have something for everybody, but we do have these fun. A lot of people, when we're traveling, we like to travel the local cuisine. So we do offer this on Avalon. And at the dinner, like I mentioned, 4-course elegant dinner. You have your choice of appetizer, soup, salad, and then you have your choice of your main dish, and then you have a choice for your dessert as well. And they don't make you choose your dessert right away. They ask you for what do you want for dessert after your main dish. So a lot of people ask, do I have to make all my decisions at once? Not to worry. And with dessert, they do have that cheese plate option as well, which is very, very popular on Avalon. And you have your choices of wines, like I mentioned, red, white, and rosé. And for dinner, they change every evening. Every evening, there's a new regional wine choice. And if you had a wine that you liked maybe on day 1 and it's day 4, just ask your waiter, because they most likely can find you that wine again to have at that meal, because it's really common that people find one they really like and they want to have it again. And then the adventure is up to you. So let's talk more about the land, what you're going to see, what you're going to do. I've talked a lot about the river ship and the experience on the river ship and what's on the river ship looks like. But what about when you're not on the river ship? Why are you going to Europe? You're going to go to Europe for the excursions and the sightseeing, and to really have this reason why you're traveling is to see the sights and learn about the history and the people. So with Avalon, like I mentioned, we do have a choice of excursions. No matter what itinerary that you're looking at, we do have classic, discovery, and active excursions included. For example, a classic excursion can be in the town of Mainz. We walk off the river ship with a local guide. You have a walking tour of the town of Mainz. And then we go inside the Gutenberg printing press museum and learn, and one of the first Bibles are actually there in the museum that you can see, and you learn how they did the printing press. So that's what a classic tour would be like. It really, if you're thinking about just exactly what it would be, it's just a nice orientation walking tour with maybe an inside visit included, but it's truly just to give you an idea and some history behind the sites that you're seeing. Just active is a little more self-explanatory. This is where you have an opportunity to hop on a bike, get into a canoe, maybe put on your running shoes and go for a jog or a hike. And we do have these included with every itinerary. There's not every day there may be an active excursion. Maybe on a 7-night itinerary, you might have 1 or 2 choices. Like I'll talk about one today where Amsterdam, we do have a choice of a bike tour included in Amsterdam. If you're crazy enough to get on those bike paths of Amsterdam, we have that excursion included if you want to try it. This image here is more biking along, more of a scenic path along the Danube, for example. And then we have our discovery choices. So this is a little more focused, a regional focus, maybe an artist focused, maybe a food tasting focus, meaning local focus. So this is more, got a little more niche to it, like the Giverny Gardens, like the image here in France. So this would be going out to the gardens. Not everyone's a garden person and loves the gardens and loves the history of Monet. So that's why it's more of a discovery focus. So this is just, again, all of 3 of these active, discovery, and classic choices are included with Avalon. You just choose which one and what you want to do. And the big question is when should I choose what I want to do? You choose when you're on board. There's no sense of urgency to do it before you go, unless you really know that's why you're going on that itinerary. So if you are going on this, let's say the Seine itinerary in France here, and you really know you want to do Giverny Gardens, then sign up in advance. You can do that in advance. Once you make your final payment, you can sign up for these included excursions. But if you're not quite sure, just wait till you're in the destination or cruise directors talk about them, explain them in a little more detail, and then you can choose on the river ship as well. So there's no sense of urgency to sign up in advance unless you really know you want to do something. Your cruise, your way. We have freedom included, rules or not. So if you want to sleep in on a river cruise and just enjoy the river ship one morning and skip out on a local guided tour, you can. You know that you are going to most of the time be in the heart of a center. You can walk off the river ship and enjoy the destination on your own if you want to sleep in a little bit. But we really make it your choice to enjoy everything your way. We do have an app that you can download before you go called the Avalon Go app. And it will have maps, it will have shopping recommendation, it will have restaurant recommendation, museum information, everything at your fingertips. And the neat thing about this app is that you don't need to be on Wi-Fi to use the app once you're in the destination. Everything will be on the app for that itinerary for you. So, and it has a travel journal, and you can load your images to the travel journal. So it's a neat way to bring all the information for all those photos that you took. And some people, like on this tour I just took, some lady told me she took over 1,000 photos in 5 days. I wouldn't even know where to start with that unless I was writing notes on each of those photos, right? So you can do that in your travel journal in the app, which is really neat. If you want to take any like stretching classes or yoga or even a dance class, we have our Avalon adventure hosts that do some things on board the river ship. You can see the stretching on the sky deck here in the summer on the image on the left-hand side. The adventure hosts also lead some of the biking tours and hiking tours as well when it comes to some of those active excursions that we have as well. So where in the world? So Avalon has a lot of choices for river itineraries. We have 80 cruises to choose from, 10 rivers, 20 countries. So I'm just going to highlight and just give you a few choices on some of these itineraries. What I did is what I thought I would do is pick our more popular itineraries. But this is the Avalon map. We're in all the main rivers of Europe. You can see on the screen here, Rhone, Seine, Rhine, Moselle, Main. We're in Holland and Belgium, of course. And I'll highlight something on each of these rivers tonight for you. So romance, adventure, and festive. Let's talk about some itineraries. So tulip time is really popular. It's really popular for different reasons. It could be just you've always wanted to just focus on a river cruise in Holland and Belgium, for example. Maybe you have some World War history that you want to learn about in this area. So for example, we visit the Flanders Field Museum in Ypres and visit the battlefields, and we actually go where the last post ceremonies and the Menin Gate. We have a guided tour in Kinderdijk included in Rotterdam, and we have a harbor cruise included in Rotterdam. We visit in Haarlem, we visit the major flower bulbs growing district just outside of Amsterdam. And of course, Amsterdam on this itinerary is the one that has the choice of a canal cruise in Amsterdam or a biking tour of Amsterdam. So it's all, these are included, you just choose which one you want to do. Of course, we have other choices for tulip time as well. This is just one of the itineraries. It's a nice 8-day itineraries, Brussels to Amsterdam. People love this because it includes Belgium. So this is just a neat itinerary that includes Belgium. So when I think about Belgium, I think of chocolate, waffles, and beer, right? And so this river cruise, you can have all of those in one meal if you wanted to. So the Romantic Rhine is a very popular itinerary. This one's your 8 days just on the Rhine River, Amsterdam, Basel, or you can go Basel, Amsterdam. The major airport close to Basel is Zurich. So that's where you would fly in or out of, depending on the direction that you are going. Highlights on this itinerary could be a choice of excursions in Cologne, which includes a basic walking tour in Cologne. Cologne, the river ship is right in the heart of Cologne. We walk off. Of course, we smell the aroma of the chocolate museum close by. And we have a nice walking tour of Cologne and go inside the famous cathedral, or we have a Jewish heritage walking tour. So again, you just decide which one you want to do on board. Choice of guided excursions in Mainz. We have the Gutenberg Museum, like I highlighted in that image prior. And then we do have the Heidelberg Castle excursion, if you're interested in that, included when we're in Mainz as well. So you just have a choice of which one you'd like to do. And then Strasbourg, visiting a little bit of France on this itinerary. Le Petit France district, and you visit the Gothic Cathedral. And Strasbourg is right not on the river. We do have to transfer you in, but some of our itineraries you take the canal boat in as well. So just depending on where our river ship is able to be in close to Strasbourg. So if you're on one of our smaller ones, we're able to be a little closer, and we're just gonna do a canal cruise right into Strasbourg, which is nice. If you want the Rhine and the Moselle, we do offer that. Moselle has become a lot more popular, especially the wine lovers out there want to experience the Moselle. So others than I just mentioned on the Rhine, we have a choice of guided excursions in Bern Castle. We have a hike or to a castle ruins excursion, or we have a wine tasting excursion. So hike, wine, you know, what do you love? I think I like wine more right now than hiking, but you know, it just depends on what you love on that day, right? So, and Rudesheim, of course, we visit Siegfried's Mechanical Museum. It's a music museum. It's a really neat little place with little history music boxes. And then we do have a tasting of Rudesheimer coffee here, or we have a choice to do the, not a gondola, more of a cable car ride up and see the scenic views of the wineries in the Rudesheim area. So some nice excursions on this one. Again, the Moselle, there's not many choices for the Moselle, and this is one of the itineraries that we do have the Moselle included. Magnificent Europe this is your 14-day itinerary, Amsterdam to Budapest. If you want to take one river cruise, and this is your big bucket list item, this might be the itinerary for you, because you do get the Rhine, the Main, and the Danube on this itinerary. Places on this itinerary, Würzburg, we do visit the bishop's residence. In Roth, Nuremberg, we do give you a choice of excursions. We have a guided tour in Roth, or you can do a guided tour in Nuremberg, or a guided tour in Nuremberg that includes more World War II history, like the rally ground. So we have 3 choices on that day for you. Melk, we have that visit to the famous Benedictine Abbey included, and then of course scenic cruise to the beautiful Vaha Valley. The legendary Danube. So this itinerary really truly focuses just on the Danube. You can add on Prague. The legendary Danube actually would start in Prague if you do Prague at the beginning. We also have an itinerary called the Blue Danube Discovery, which is actually the reverse of this itinerary. It starts in Budapest, ends in Nuremberg, and you add Prague on at the end. Places like Regensburg on this itinerary. It's got the world's oldest sausage kitchen, and we do have and again, Regensburg, you just walk off the river ship and everything's right there at your footsteps. And we visit the old town hall in Regensburg. And this has some major metropolitan cities included, like Vienna and Budapest. So we have those main sightseeing tours of Vienna and Budapest, where you see all the sites like in Vienna with the Habsburg family dynasty. Budapest, you get to see Hero Square, the Opera House. You go to the Buda side and the Pest side. So you get to see everything in Budapest. And we always include a nice little night cruise in Budapest where you can see the Parliament building lit up at night as well. If you want a little more choices with your Avalon experience, we have the active and discovery itineraries. This is the Danube. I can go on and on about active and discovery. I truly love it. Choice of excursions here in Mauthausen. We visit the camp concentration camp, or we have a bike tour included, or a monastery visit included. So there's 3 choices that day in Mauthausen. Spitz, if you ever want to do a canoe ride, we have a canoe excursion on the Danube included. We also have biking from Spitz to Krems and go on those famous bike trails on the Danube River, or a wine world experience, you know, if you're a wine lover. So these are, again, choices on this itinerary. I love this itinerary. The number one reason why I love this itinerary is it has 2 nights in Vienna. So if Vienna's high on your bucket list and you really want to visit Vienna and the river cruise is the way you're going to visit Vienna, this is our only itinerary that has 2 nights in Vienna. So you have more time in Vienna than any other river cruise itinerary with us. And each day we do have choices of excursions in Vienna. We do have festive cruises, Christmas cruises, and Christmas cruises are popular for Albertans. We love to get out that festive time. We usually go earlier in December. We have your choices of excursions. Again, it could be Christmas focused excursions or the basic classic walking tour excursions. Like in Nuremberg, we do have excursion, the classic excursion. We have the Rallies Grounds excursion, and then we have a Christmas market excursion where we actually have a tasting through the market. So you have your choice there. So these are pretty neat itineraries, all different choices. This one's our 8-day Prague, Frankfurt. And this one's focusing on the Main River. It's kind of a unique itinerary. We have them on the Rhine and the Danube as well. Of course, the Glühwein, so we need our snowy days here in Alberta right now, our mulled wine. The Balkan Discovery, this is our Budapest, Bucharest itineraries. This is, if you have river cruise before, this might be the right itinerary for you for something new. Of course, cruising through the Iron Gates is really neat on this itinerary. A lot of history. You're in Serbia, Bulgaria, Romania, of course, Hungary as well on this itinerary. And then France, we have 2 choices in France. We have the Burgundy and Provence itineraries. This is your ambiance of course, the lavender fields, the wine, the Roman ruins, you know, cheese tastings, wine tastings. There's lots included. Avignon, you can visit the Palace of the Popes, of course. So it's a neat itinerary. And then the Seine itinerary, we have 2 choices on the Seine, actually. So, and this is the reflections of the Seine. And both of the itineraries we have on the Seine start and end in Paris. And they're beautiful round trip cruises Paris. You want to learn more about Vincent van Gogh and the end of his life in France. You want to go to Giverny, you want to go to Busy Castle, you want to learn about Napoleon. Of course, Normandy included on these itineraries, or we have the Taste of Normandy, you can taste all the Calvados and cheese all you want. So it's all these choices for you with Avalon. We do have some new itineraries in 2021. We are looking for new and beyond, which is nice about our company, is that they're always looking at new innovative itineraries. We do pre and post, pre or post the river cruise, and your Expedia consultant can help you with that. And we do have some shorter river cruise itineraries that if you're not quite sure river cruising is for you. I know the river ship doesn't have the casinos and the big shows like your main ocean liner ships do, but you just want to taste a river cruise. We have shorter cruises that you can just try a river cruise with. It's going to be complimentary maybe to another trip that you are planning as well. We are beyond Europe, like I mentioned. We have the Mekong, we're in India, we have our Amazon cruise in Peru, we have our small ship cruise for the Galapagos, we're back in Egypt. So your Expedia consultant can help you with anything outside of Europe as well. Like I mentioned, we have Egypt, India, Southeast Asia, and South America. Yeah, I mentioned them all there. And it's smooth sailing from here with serious savings. We do have our Peace of Mind travel plan included with all of your bookings for 2021 and beyond. So what does that mean is it is a complimentary travel plan that's included. Once you've placed your $250 deposit for your river cruise with us, if you have a change of heart, change of mind, and you're not ready to travel, just let us know before your final payment. And you can move your deposit to a future year, or you can even move it to just doing something totally different, like going to Newfoundland and Labrador or Globus versus doing an Avalon River cruise in Europe. So just let us know and let your consultant know before your final payment is due, and you can move that deposit to anything with the Globus family brands. It is a complimentary travel plan that we have. So current big promotion we have right now is upgrade your view on us. So majority of our itineraries and sailings have this promotion, where we do have a complimentary upgrade to a panorama suite. So you just paid that lead-in price and you get upgraded to category A, B, or P. Most people choose P because that's got the biggest value to it. And it is average value savings of $15.99 per person. We don't have a free air promotion right now. The savings, I think, is a little better than a free air promotion when you look at the value of $15.99 per person and most people upgrade anyway, so you know you're most likely want to be cruising in a panorama suite. Might as well take advantage of this promotion. So your Expedia consultant can help you with all of this and find out which departures have this promotion that you would be interested in. And last but not least, we do have an offer for the World Explorer event with Expedia Cruises. With the Panorama Suite offer, we also have prepaid gratuity offer that if you book and deposit an Avalon cruise between October 1st and October 31st, you'll also receive prepaid gratuities. And that is included when you just deposit with us. And it's only available through Expedia Cruises for the World Explorer offer. And we do have some offers with Globus as well, so make sure you talk to your Expedia consultant on that. So I'm sorry I took a few minutes over. I do like to talk, so I'm very passionate about Avalon. But Gary, if you could let me know if there was any questions that came up. Oh, you're muted, Gary. Yeah,
yes, absolutely. If you can actually unshare your screen here.
I definitely can. I'll stop sharing.
Give me a second here.
There you go.
So I'm just going to check our chat box. I know I saw a question there. And the question is from Anne. Is the club lounge for select passengers like at hotels, or is it for everyone?
It's for everyone, Anne. Everyone's treated equally on Avalon. You don't have to pay for the extras on us. Everyone's treated equally, no matter what type of room category you book.
Perfect. So yeah, thank you, Leslie. That was an sorry.
That was surprised that's the only question, so that's great.
Yeah, thank you very much. And like you said, that was an excellent presentation. River cruising is definitely one of the things I'll be doing in the future here. And just a quick reminder, although international travel is currently paused, it is now the perfect time to start thinking of where do you want to go for 2021 and 2022. Many of our suppliers have very flexible booking policies at the moment. And we are seeing shortage of space due to high demand of people rebooking their postponed trips. So I don't think there's any other questions. You can always unmute yourselves if you have any questions, but I think we're good. So thank you everyone for joining us this evening. We appreciate your time and your past travels with us, and we look forward to helping you future trips. And
thanks everyone.
Reach out to your travel advisors if you have any questions regarding the presentation tonight. Enjoy the rest of your evening and stay safe out there. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye for now.